Okay, okay, guys. So let's begin the call. Let's begin the class now. Just a brief explanation on what did they call it? These two pairs, XAUUSD, and if we have more time, we're going to cover volatility index VIX 25 for trades. If you guys are aware of VIX 25, that's those are synthetic pairs. Synthetic pairs, they are not really forex pairs or crypto pairs. They're like derived pairs, derivatives, because they are they are just made by algorithms. So I'll cover VIX too if possible, if time permits. So let's get started. Let me share my screen on TradingView so we can begin analyzing. And yeah, can you guys see my what do you call it? Can anyone see my analysis? I don't know whether my screen has started sharing on XAUUSD.
Yeah, I can see your screen. Yeah.
Okay, looks like it should be well now. Yeah, so it's showing. I believe everyone can see it. Let me open a new tab for that. So a new what did you call it? A new this screen I have here is already clogged up. So I want to open a blank distance so we can see the stuff better. XAU USD. See indices or futures or commodities futures. Yeah. Well, let me use fx.com. Okay, let's go to a blank chart for gold XAU USD. Let me take it to the top. Let me just leave here. So this analysis, this class is not intended for people that aren't what do you call it? People that aren't already trading. I'm not going to be explaining base concepts from scratch. So that's going to be on mentorship. But this I'm just explaining the strategy I use for trading gold and why it's successful and how why it always brings good returns and yields. So basically, I'm just going to cover that. I'm not going to cover from beginning on what trading is or stuff like that. So back to this. I believe everyone can see my screen, Sha. Let it not be that. Yeah, okay, everyone can see my screen. Cool. So I'm going to first start off with the strategy I use for gold, explaining it, which is I use up to three or four strategies on gold, which enables me to get accurate predictions and signals. But let me just give you guys, I'm just going to cover one or two because of time. We don't have time to do all that this night. So I'm just going to cover one or two with you guys. So now let me uh let me give some examples. Starting with this, let's use some example models. Yeah. So first things first, I believe everyone here should be familiar with different concepts like supply, demand, resistance, support, all those kind of things, and various terminologies out there. So now, one of the confluences I use in trading gold is SBR and RBS. SBR and RBS, what I mean by that is resistance turned uh, support, and support turned resistance, or support becomes resistance, SBR and SDR. Let me just type that out so you guys can see it. SBR and SDR here. Let's just RBS, actually RBS here. Supply, sorry, support, yeah, becomes resistance, and resistance becomes support. Yeah, so basically this is my first model for entering trades in gold because gold obeys it very well. But there are so many perks to it and how to know. Sometimes it can be fake. It can sometimes it might not be fake. And there is through experience and constant teaching that you'll be able to actually get this with time. So let me explain what I mean by support becomes resistance and resistance becomes support. So now we all know that in trading, the normal thing that we trade uh the normal thing we expect in trading are things like supply and demand. Like for instance, price is going up like this, price is going up like this. We're expecting the what do they call it, the support levels to hold, or why we are expecting the demand uh levels to hold, if we're saying that. So for instance, let me explain this now. If we have something like this, hope you guys can see the screen properly. If we have something like this, you can see price is bullish from what we're seeing here. Price is going higher and higher. Bullish means I told you guys, I hope no one here is a beginner, but if anyone here is a beginner, I'll try and explain some things. So bullish means that the market is going up, like, and the way bullish, the where like the way that word was coined or gotten is the way bulls attack. If you have watched National Geographic or something, you will observe that okay, bulls attack with their horns, and their horns, they attack with their horns by flipping whatever they are attacking upwards. They'll go from below and go up. So bulls attack up, and bearish is the opposite case when market is going, when market is what do you call it, ranging downwards like this this when market direction is overall down, when the market is a bearish market. So we say this market is bearish. So now the normal thing that we have for bearish markets is okay, we are, if we're using smart money concepts, we say okay, this is a support, sorry, this is a demand. I'm coming. We say things like okay, this is a demand, this is the demand one, this is demand two, this is demand three. This is the way price moves. Price obeys supply and demand. Demand is, sorry, this is, that's a demand. This is supply one, supply two. Supply is for high points, like for bearish markets. And the reason why I didn't explain bearish, but bearish is because bears attack with their paws, their claws, and the way they attack is by slashing downwards. Like they're usually higher than whatever they are preying on, because they usually, if they're standing on their 2 feet, bears are higher. So the way they attack is by going from up to down, while bulls they attack with their horns going upwards, like from below to up. That's how these terminologies were coined. Bullish and bearish is a general term. Everybody in the world that trades knows this, and it's not something that I'm just forming. So now in terms of bullish, now this is demand. Let me type out some things so you guys can see them better. Demand one. Let me just type demand. Demand, demand here. This is another demand. So this is the way price moves. And whenever price comes back to a demand zone, we're expecting price to go up or to continue moving upwards from there. That's how the normal way price moves. Uh, but it's not always like this. But this is a good textbook example. Then this is supply, 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 supply. Yeah, supply. I really don't know why the font is this big. I'll reduce it to supply, supply. So we all know the concept of supply and demands for those who care who are economic students, economic or banking students. Supply and demand. Whenever supply of something is higher, price falls down or price crashes. When supply of something is lower than the demand, price increases or skyrockets. And uh, it does this by breaking structure consistently, continuously. So uh, that is in the case of supply and demand. So now, the driving force behind supply and demand is the concept that okay, if we have if we have a market now, let's say a banana market, there are different markets. There are forex markets, there are crypto markets, there are destiny, there are what do you call it, futures markets, there are options markets, there are stock markets, there are derivative markets. So let's give an instance. We have a banana market in the market square now, and we have five sellers of banana, and we have a community that loves banana. Like, like people buy banana back to back. Everybody rush banana. If people are rushing banana, it means that the demand for banana is higher. So now, if the price of banana starts here today, uh, price does not keep going straight up. Price must always correct downwards to continue moving up. That's the way price moves. Price needs to gather fuel. So to gather fuel, it goes down a bit and continues moving upwards. So if demand for something is high, the price of that thing increases because everybody wants it. So those sellers now can do shakara and say, okay, since everybody people they rush banana, thank God say we no get too many banana sellers for this village. Maybe start to sell a banana today for 2,000. Tomorrow now they'll say, okay, people they rush this thing too much, or 3,000, so that the thing will not go out quickly. Or since we can do that because of we're the only one selling, that kind of thing. That's what demand means. Demand, this thing applies to trading. It applies to forex markets and all. While supply means okay, we have 100 people that produce banana, rare banana, and sell it now, and they come to market and be selling. And it's a small community now, and everybody will obviously not be buying banana every day now. Let's say the ratio of people selling banana to people that buy banana in the what they call it in the village are like 10 to, or rather 100 sellers to 50 people. It means that they won't be selling now. So if they won't be selling now, these people, the sellers now will be begin begging people to buy. Okay, come buy from me now. Everybody will be dragging you when you get to the market to come and buy their own. And now you can do shakara as the buyer and be like, oh man, I don't get that kind of money, this and that, all those kinds of things. Uh, you go sell am for me, go call price like half the price sef. And because of that, because of everybody selling banana, banana is plenty, and if they don't sell out, everything will what do you call it? Everything will spoil, and they won't get any gain. That's the reason why whenever supply in a market is higher, the markets will become what do you call it? Bearish. Markets will be crashing. This is bearish and this is bullish. Now, the strategy is in gold. Everything works in gold. This works too, but you have to. There are ways that this can fail you. Anything can fail you. That's the thing. The markets obeys no one completely. So that's the intention. At least you should aim to have a win rate of above 40% to be profitable with a risk to reward of maybe 1:3, that kind of thing. So now, this is the model I love to trade personally with gold. You can trade this model too, the normal supply and resistance, so supply and demand. But the way I like to trade gold typically is my using my support and resistance. And now I don't just trade. Anyways, I can't be giving you guys the full secrets, but let me just give you guys how I always get accurate trades on gold. Now this is the first thing now you need to know is this I mentioned here. Let me increase the fonts for this 22. Let me change the color so you guys can see it clearly. Hope you guys can see. Oh. Which color will I use now that will be okay? I really don't know. I hope this is okay. Which color will be okay? Uh, Anyways, let's just use that. Let's just use this. So now SBR and RBS, supply becomes resistance and resistance becomes, sorry, support becomes resistance and resistance becomes support. So basically, what do they call it? In terms of people that don't trade supply and demand, but instead say they trade resistance and support. Resistance and support is like, for instance, this is a high, this is high one, this is the first high in the market, the tip, this is the first high. We say, okay, this is resistance one, this is the second high, this is resistance two, resistance two, and this is the third high, this is resistance three. So now the tips of these moves are called resistance, because price, if price wants to push beyond this, price needs a lot of energy, a lot of liquidity, a lot of money in the market. People need money to push this thing upwards, to make the demand now exceed the supply and make the market to switch to bearish, sorry, to bullish from its the bearish state it is. So all these tips are resistance level. Now, in the case of bearish of a bullish market, when market is going up, uh these tips here, these lows here are called resistance, sorry, are called support. Support. Let me just write this here. Resistance. So like that. Resistance, 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 resistance. So this is what I mean by resistance and support for those who don't know what resistance and support are. So this happens everywhere in the market. You see it every single location. Support. So when you hear people talking about two things, either resistance and support or supply and demand, both basically still mean the same thing. But the difference is supply and demand is a region. You can see it's a rectangle where we expect price to continue its direction. It's a region. That's why we draw a rectangle. Support. So that's why what do you call it? That's for the case of support and demand now. So the way I trade gold, the way I like trade gold is supply becomes resistance and resistance becomes sorry, support becomes resistance or resistance becomes support. In that case, what I mean by or this SBR can also mean support, break, and resistance, which means that there is a support level, price will break it, and that support now becomes resistance. The previous support. Now, for instance, now you can see this was a bullish market, price was going up, but all of a sudden, price came down. Now, this was a previous support. Now, this support will become the new resistance, whereby we can trade off of in this market now. For instance, this is the case, and we can get our perfect trade and get our money. Yeah. So this is an example of SBR, and uh, in the case of RBS, resistance becomes support. That is for a previously what do they call it? Bearish market. For instance, now market was crashing, market was crashing here, here, here. Then all of a sudden, market does this. Now, what will happen is the previous resistance will become the new support, and this is what I mean. This is what I mean here. This gets here. This gets here. Yeah. So, this is the scenario one, and this is the scenario two. Let me remove this price label. So I hope you guys are understanding the illustration. I really do. I'll try to explain better if you don't, so don't worry. We still have some more time. So now this is the case of resistance becomes support, and subsequently, if price had done something like this now, we can even get more and more trades because there's a new support resistance that has become support. You can see this here. This now, you can see price has broken this resistance here, so we can look to trade off this here. When price comes back here, we can look to trade off this. So for instance, this. So this is what I mean by that. uh Supply, sorry, resistance becomes support, in terms of, okay, this was a high, this was a resistance here, but price broke it. Instead of price falling back down, we can see this was a bearish market, but now it has switched bullish. It's going higher and higher and higher. So now this is the first, this here was the first resistance, which was broken, and the resistance becomes support for price to move up again. And this here also happened here. Resistance becomes support for price to move up again. So uh, that is one of the things. Now let's check the, what do they call it, examples. We're going to check some examples here. I'm coming. Now this doesn't always work. Maybe in, the only people that are going to be in my mentorship will know when to spot valid resistance becomes support and other things. And the other two methods I look for trades on golds. It's not only this method. This is just the least one I use for entry on gold. There are many more. So for instance, this I got this trade that day. This was middle of November. Yeah. So this was my trade. Uh, I always like covering the body of the candle that is breaking or invalidating the previous supply. Sorry, the previous support that becomes the new resistance. This is a support because price went up. This is a support. So now this support will become the resistance. And as you can see, I only target 3RR. I never trade more than 3RR because 3R always gets the target. And remember what I said, I always target 3RR and I always cover the high of, sorry, the body of the candle that is breaking that resistance. This did not break the resistance, this weakened it. So I'm talking about this candle here. So this was the trade I took. If you go to my normal gold chart, I think we should see which day was this, 13th of November. Let's go there. Remember, this was before a Friday. That was a Thursday now, 13th of November. For market close on a Friday. Let's see where I got that trade. Okay, yes, this was it. Yep, this was the trade I took. This was the entry. The exact same thing I drew out. Are you guys seeing? And I target 3RR. This is 2.9, 3RR. So still the same thing. Yeah, so this is, you can see I did that day, and I just took a random place from the chart too, as after I drew my illustrations. So as you can see, that works. Let's check out more things. Let's check out more things. Uh, Now I won't be telling you guys how to spot valid and invalid resistance that becomes supports, because that one I want to reserve it for people in my mentorship. Yeah, so this, for instance, this is another one, but this didn't play out well that day. I enter upon this. I targeted a 3 hour. Okay, still actually went well, but I think that day I drew my stop loss a way more bigger, which was very a big mistake, which I was angry at myself for doing. So it didn't reach my targets before I left the market. So remember what I said, I covered the high of the candle that is breaking that resistance. Yeah. So this is the candle. Then yeah. So let's keep looking for more trades. This is a supply, sorry, a support that became resistance. This is another one. Another thing is that anytime that there's an FVG, and anyways, I shouldn't be teaching you guys my entry model, Shabo. Just know that I covered this high that day. Don't tell me how I knew, but I knew that price was going to do this. I covered this high to the body of this candle. If you are smart, you should observe that there's an FVG here. That's why I did that. But I'm not here to explain everything. So that's how I did it that day and how I knew. Okay, this is that. Um, why is this? Who wants to join? Okay, so back to this now. Yeah, back to this. We look for more trades and we only find valid supply, so resistance and supply levels. Now, this is this now. This was a Friday, so I closed this trade before a Sunday, so before the ending of the day. But my intention was originally to target a 3 hour and cover the high of this candle along with the FVG that was there. So my aim was to target the 3 hour. It was unsuccessful because I closed the trade here. This was 20 10:30. So then that was that. So now remember what I told you guys about anything what they call it resistance becoming support and stuff like that. This was another scenario. I didn't use any of this. I used this as an entry model. And then once price was broken like this, immediately I entered. I was waiting for price to retrace. If price did not retrace, oh well, I've missed that trade. But price luckily retraced that day and gave me a trade. Yeah, so I covered the FVG that was here. There's a small FVG here. I covered the FVG here. Normally, I would have only covered this candle here that broke this resistance. But I covered the FVG there. And this gave me a very pinpoint accurate trade. So now I targeted a 3 hour. Yeah, let's go back and check my charts to see what I did that day. My chart is very messy and jargon if you don't understand what I'm doing. Yep. So as you can see, this was it. Exactly what I did. And I like drawing my resistance and support levels from the body because it gives me more accurate entry. That's one of my secrets. So back to the chart, the fresh chart. Yeah. So this was instantaneous. I think this thing happened in under 15 minutes. This is a 30 minutes candle, but it happened in 15 minutes, the TP. So that was another one. Let's continue going back. Okay, we're not going back. Let's keep going forward. We're just doing November. This is a support price, but sadly, price never came there. Yeah, price never came there. So I then kept looking for more and more support levels, which was this now. Yeah, this was a Tuesday. I gave a signal. I gave this signal. Yeah, covered the candle that broke this thing and the as well along with the FVG. But one thing is that I didn't cover this FVG that day. I only covered this candle, being that this was already an FVG candle and this candle was already far or rather wide. So in order for me to get a realistic 3 hour, because if I extend my SL, my what do you call it? My TP will be very high. So I didn't cover that because this I used to. There are so many criteria for me setting my SL, and I have to do these things fast because I'm giving people signal. So I've already mastered what if this then that, if this happens then this. So that's what I do for whenever I am trading gold. Next things next. This also happened. I gave this signal. I remember this signal very well. This was a resistance, and it's a proper resistance because it broke structure. Yeah. So also this too. This broke structure to the downside. So I only use resistance that sorry zones that cause break of structures in the opposite direction. For instance, this caused a break of structure. If you look at this, this was a proper resistance zone, and so on and so forth. So this was a proper resistance supply. Sorry, support becomes resistance zone. This was a proper support becomes resistance zone. So everything was all good. Yeah. Uh, what was I saying? Yeah. So this reached TP, and then this this was actually the signal I gave. I didn't give this first trade. I gave this one. I took this one, but I couldn't give the trade on time. So this one was the one I took this year. Targeted a 3 hour. I covered this body that broke the candle. Yeah, I forgot. This trade lasted to the next day. I remember very clearly. Let's see the time. Targeted a 3 hour. So okay, yeah, yeah. See, it's 9 a.m. or 10 a.m. that day. And now this when this trade reached 10 p.m. I told them to close it. This was 10 p.m. I told them to close it because night time had already reached. So I didn't really want anything to happen to the trade during the middle of the night. So I told them to close it that day. And then the next day, around 9 o'clock or 7 o'clock, when this happened. Okay, it was 6 o'clock. This happened. Yeah, city time 6 o'clock. When price broke this resistance, I told them, okay, XAUUSD limit order, new trade, and then I gave them this. This was how I gave them TP that day as well. Easy, quick TP. One candle just boomed. I think I covered this because yeah, I covered this candle. I just decided to cover it. It wasn't necessary, but I just decided to cover it. Targeted three that day. Yeah. So then I did this one too. After we had TP on this one, I gave them another trade again. And immediately this trade triggered, it started moving in profit. I remember very well. So this was the next two trades that day consecutively. This was another resistance level because this was a high. So another resistance level. So yeah, then gave them this trade. Remember, this is all in the model I gave you guys. I covered this high, covered this low. This one did not reach TP that day. Yeah, so it was only two this thing that reached that day. And the reason why this didn't reach TP was because I failed to check the overall bias of where gold was. Gold was already high, and I failed to understand that. And there was a RBS, a BR, yes, rather, that this price reacted to, which if I had seen, I would have given these guys a sell signal. I would have sold to here, to bought to here, and giving them a sell signal. I wish I did that because I would have been like, ah, this guy they predict fire. So I failed to see that there was an RBS here. Let me tell you guys why I said that's happened. I failed to see. Are you guys seeing? Price did this, reacted to this, and took away our profits and went to SL. Although I told them to break, I always break my trades whenever I have whenever price has moved 1 hour or so. We didn't take loss on this though, but I could have seen this and prevented it because this is another RBS. This is another support that became resistance. And what I should have done that day was typically this. Let me first go to the chat and show you guys exactly what happened that day. Yeah. So you guys seeing? Okay, I didn't cover this candle though. It was only this candle I covered. So you guys seeing why I said I gave that day. Gave them this when price was already in profits, we were seeing our profits, then boom, price crashed. Very, very sad thing. But I failed to see the RBS. As I mean, I was just focusing on the current trades that were at hand, which was my error. But now I don't make those mistakes again. I look everywhere on the chart before I give trades. The chart thing again. So let's get this here. I'm coming. I'm coming now back to this. Back to this. This was a new supply or resistance, or rather support that became resistance. Indicates that okay, price was low here and went up, but then came back down. Everything is in the model that I told you guys. So as you remember what I said, if resistance becomes support, same thing here. You can see this was exactly what was happening here. I was just having multiple entries like that. That is the way I was having multiple entries that day. I was just getting the entries because I knew that okay, price has switched bullish. I was just getting buys, 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 buys that day. So, and the same thing for this. This was what happened here. As you can see, this happened here. And this also happened here. So, uh, back to this now. As you can see, this was a support that became resistance. I caught this one as well. These things work effortlessly on gold. I'm telling you. So I caught this one as well. Targeted a 3 hour, and I never target more than 3 hour. I'm always disciplined to know that I shouldn't target more. And the thing is that when you understand your system works, you're not going to regret to take profits because you know that um, opportunities are endless. So you won't be greedy. You know how to control your emotions better. That's the key thing. When you know that your strategy works, you won't be regretting TPs. There's so many times I've taken profit that price kept going, but I don't regret at all because I know that I'll keep catching trades more and more. And this 3 hour ultimately always saves me. There are times that after my TP, price will just start reversing. People will be like, ah, how this guy knows say price will reverse. It's not like that. It's not biggie. So what do they call it again? That's how it is. Now this was another RBS, but this one failed. And this is where my second entry model comes in, which I can't be teaching you guys this today or now. So this is more advanced and is more high probability than this RBS. So this was what this failed. As you can see, this actually worked at first, was coming down, but this RBS was invalidated. Sorry, this BRS, sorry, is it uh what they call it, support SBR rather not RBS. Support becomes resistance was invalidated. I can't explain that why, but This was what I would have done once I find out that okay, this is happening. I would have entered here. I can't explain the concept of this one to you guys. Now guys pay me money because this thing will give you hundreds of dollars. If I found it out, um, I studied though. Now I studied sha. I saw it from somewhere, but either ways, not my luck. So I can't explain this one to you guys, but this was an entry model for me. So now back to our normal RBS, RBS, RBS. Hmm, let's go. Looking for more resistance that becomes support. Yep, this happened here. Entered here. Quite this high. I don't think this thing went got to TP. Price reversed. I don't know whether I got to TP. Okay, it got to TP. Boy, I said I always cover the candle that is breaking the previous RBS. If you guys remember what I said, I always cover the candle. This is a support because price moved up, broke structure, so that's a support for that. Mm-hmm. So, which other thing again? So now we continue looking for RBSs, RBSs, RBSs. Back down here, I gave a signal for this trade. It was late in the night. Yeah, this was evening. I remember this price action very well. Yeah. So another trade was here because this was a resistance level. You can see price failed to push past here. This also broke structures the downside. So this was a pure resistance level. And this was this model I drew out. Where price is going down, bearish, then all of a sudden it switches bullish. Then you enter on pump pullback to resistance. That's this one here. You can see price was bearish, 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 bearish. Price was crashing, crashing, crashing. Then all of a sudden price moved up very well. And then I entered upon retracement. Then that was that. And the reason why this works perfectly well is because in Forex, any zone that fails to hold always what do you call it, any zone that fails to hold works but inversely. Yeah, so this didn't even get to TP that day. That was a sad this thing because it didn't get to TP. Yep. So the next things next, this is not a valid supply, what do you call it, RBS. This is not a valid RBS. I don't know how to start explaining it to you guys now, but this is not valid. I would have never traded off this because this did not even break any structure to the upside. So now this next day, sorry. So now back to this now. We're looking for break of structure, entry, sorry, what do you call it? A supply, sorry, a resistance or support level, a, a break, and then entry upon retest. So this model keeps forming everywhere. Oh yeah, this was one I actually gave for signal. This was a very very quick trade, a short trade. So that's what I gave for signal. 3RR. The thing hits TP. Yeah. I don't remember all these things so easily. Okay, we're still in November. That's why I remember all of them. Because it's as if I don't cram these things finish. So I gave, I did this. What did I do? What did I do? What did I do? Okay, just now I entered here. I actually entered here. I entered at this candle here when this one was broken. So I entered at this candle here. Targeted a three. Yep. Let me see what I did on my chart. I'm coming. I targeted a three, which was here. Let me see my charts. Yeah, so you guys can see what I did here. That previous one I told you guys about. This one too. This one as well. Then yeah, this was a trade that I told you guys. I did a 3 hour short trade. This one gave me a 3 hour. Price broke this resistance. Then I entered up one pullback, targeted 3 hour. So you guys will test this out and see that it works perfectly well on gold. This is an ultimate secret for gold. Let me show that I put this trade on November 20th. Okay, yeah, I did that trade too. So next things next, next things next, next things next. Yeah. So next trade I took was this one. Very, very quick and fast trade. Yes, this was Monday. Yeah, this was Monday. This really made my day. This trade, this second trade made my day. I gave this one as a signal. I also gave this one, but this one just made me happy. This one I spotted it late, though, but I still entered it. This was meant to be the normal setup. If you go to my channel and check Monday, 24th of November, this was last week Monday. I did a 3 hour, but let me show you guys what happened. When this played out, I saw it late. I saw this thing late. So this was where I saw it. I saw it here when price was here. So I know that okay, I need to cover the candle and the normally I meant to cover the candle and the place you get now. I meant to cover the candle and any FVG I'm seeing. I'm seeing an FVG here. I always use my 30 minutes. I like my 30 minutes. So if in case you're wondering why I'm using 30 minutes, because my 30 minutes always gives me uh, good entries. Any time frame can give you good entries, Shabo. I've just got to use the 30 minutes. So now you guys, I didn't see this trade here. I was meant to enter here, but I didn't see this trade here. This one happened already, and I don't know. I guess I went out. So as I was out, I decided to check my phone to see if I would see any trade, and I saw, oh shit, something has happened. So when he was here, I entered here. This is when I told him buy XAUUSD now at market price. I didn't give them limit order, gave them market price. Still put the same SL here, which was here. I then targeted a 3 hour. Check my channel, you see that I took this trade, or rather I gave this trade. Yep. Yeah. So now back to what I was saying. That's what I was saying. I was anticipating a trade the following day, that's Tuesday, but sadly price never got to this entry and he hasn't gotten there till today. Look, I was expecting this entry here for this trade, this resistance to become support, but sadly price missed it and kept going up. And then I found out that price actually reacted from a 4 hours RBS, which was so pissing and annoying. I was expecting that I would have covered this low like this. Are you guessing? I would have covered this last candle here. You can see this is the candle here. This is the candle that broke this resistance. I would have covered it. Yeah, targeted a 3 hour. Easy. But price missed it. And I then found out that price was reacting to a 4 hours RBS. Let me show you guys. It was so annoying. Is it 4 hours? It's going to be 4 hours now. Come in, let me see something. Let me check my charts. Yes, now it was a 4 hours. Still the 4 hours it was reacting from. Price data is different though, not be lie. It then missed this lower one here. So Wanda and FXCM have different data. Anyways, I will use Wanda. What you guys saying? It's different for FXCM. But on my Wanda, I noticed that it reacted from a 4 hours candlestick with a resistance. So either way, this was another trade. I didn't give this signal, but I took this trade personally. I entered here, covered this FVG below. As you can see, I always cover FVGs. If I see any FVG, I cover it. I'm always staying safe, as you can see. Now I targeted a 3 hour. Are you guys seeing now why 3 hour is important? It saves you at times. And as I said, when you know a strategy that works, you won't be regretting taking profits. So yeah, what do you call it again? So I was looking for more RBS, more RBS. I was waiting for price to break this whole resistance level to enter. If price did that and price did it, I entered, got a good trade. As you can see, price did that. Yep, the small distance RB. I gave this signal, but that day I covered this low for some reason. I covered way more than that low. So I targeted a 3 hour. This thing near that TP and reverse, this thing was very painful. Hit a break even sharp. This thing was very, very painful. I went to go and cover this extra low, which wasn't necessary, but I just did it. So price reversed after nearing that TP. This was a signal I sent. This thing paying me very well. So that is that. Oh boy, I'm coming. Now, this place actually reacted from an RBS. Let me show you guys. I remember this was a resistance, sorry, a support which turned to resistance. This this reacted to it, but it wasn't successful along the line. So that was that. Uh, this became an RBS. I entered here, but it didn't give us a TP. Other things. Let me check how many minutes is left. Okay, call ends in under a minute. Anyways, I hope you guys were able to understand one or two things. They said call's about to end.